aka Lil G, aka Princess of the Darkness. Yeah, all those names, I'm known by them. We're back, and I am here with Jay the Prodigy.
What's up?
Hello.
What's going on?
So, oh my goodness, I've known Jay, maybe 2 years now.
I think it's
Just
almost
about.
been like 3.
Almost 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, so almost 3 years. Met in college and just around the scene, and you are an immensely talented human being. And I'm so excited to have you on the show and just catch up with you and all that good stuff. So introduce yourself firstly, and then we'll get into it.
Well, what's up, y'all? First of all, my name is Jonathan, but I actually go by Jay, aka Jay the Prodigy, aka the Prodigy. Everybody be asking me why I'm the Prodigy, and I just be like, I'm the Prodigy. But anyways, I've been making music since I was a kid. I started off rapping, but like as I got older, I started getting more into my like singing band. So like now I'm just making music, taking it serious. I love this.
Yes, sir. And it has been so great to see you kind of embark on that singing journey. I want to talk about a song,
Okay.
Darlin'. So when I remember when I first heard that song, it was at Studio 18 for like a plug and play thing that they were doing during the TMC week that they had. And I just remember the whole room being just in awe of what they heard and like, who made this? What is going on? What the freak? And then we found out that you produced it.
Yeah.
And it was just like this amazing thing. I remember we went over to Keith's one night and showed him, and you were talking about, you know, the process of kind of discovering your voice and, you know, making the decision of if you want to lean into it. And Keith, and if you don't know, Keith Andes is a producer who stays here in Orlando, but he's been in the business for 40 years, immensely valuable knowledge and just awesome person. But Keith was like, boy, you need to sing. Like, what's going on? So let's talk a little bit about that and that discovery process for you.
So the thing is that I've always had the love for singing. Like it was always just something that came naturally to me. Like I think a lot of my inspirations like growing up had a lot to do with rap. Like the first rapper that I really like avidly listened to was J. Cole. So it's like lyricism became such a big part of my music that I wanted to just become good with my pen first. But like as I got older, I always like still had the gift obviously that I could sing, and I wasn't just doing it. I wasn't doing that as much. But like the more I started locking in with my singing, I realized it was a lot easier to express certain emotions. And it's funny because you guys were actually talking about it in the last segment. I had to kind of go through life a little bit more. So you get what I think as an artist too, you could relate with me on that, because it's like everybody has that transition period where you have to realize what is it you're really doing it for. You get what I mean?
Yes. And, you know, one of the things that when I'm talking to artists and if you're in a creative community, you go through and be around people who are going through writer's block, creative stumps, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And a lot of the times we get so engrossed in our passion and what we want to do that we forget to live life. Yeah. And we forget that, like, in order to make art, you have to be inspired. Yeah. You got to go out. You got to see new things. A part of the creation process is living life and having new experiences. And if you're locked away in a hole, you know, not doing anything else, it can be really easy to get swept up in that and get in like an echo chamber. So yeah, for sure. You'll
definitely get lost in that. And it's like, it's funny because I was actually listening to this interview the other day, Lauryn Hill, when she was talking. I feel like that's such a good example to bring up, because it's like she made one of the best albums of all time. Like the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, like, was such a pivotal moment in hip hop. And like she was even explaining that everybody spends so much time trying to go to the top and then staying there. Like after making it, like people won't understand that there was a whole process of living that was behind the album.
Yes.
So just like being at that moment, people are trying so hard to stay at that certain position that like they'll wind up getting lost in it and then forgetting what really made that music so good, and it coming from that genuine place.
Lost in the sauce.
Yeah.
So how does it feel to, you know, be embracing that side of you, and what is the response that you've been getting so far?
I'll be honest with you, I feel like it's put me in a more vulnerable position with myself and my music, so that way,
Mm-hmm.
like, when I'm expressing, I could really tap in with that emotion and like understand really where it's coming from. So like, I feel like people are responding to it in a good way. Like, they're responding to it because obviously it's coming from a genuine place now,
Mm-hmm.
rather than it just being like so one-sided with my music. Like, I could tap in with love, I could tap in with like my deepest fears, I could tap in with different things
Right.
that like is me, but it's still like just being shown out in a different way. You get what I
Mm.
mean?
Absolutely. I have a question that is
Yeah.
just burning in my brain because I remember someone saying this a while ago, and I have never had the conversation with you. Did you ever have a point in your career early off when you like didn't cuss in your music,
Yeah.
or where you were like very clean about stuff?
Hmm. Yes,
Talk
actually.
about that. Talk about that for me.
So here's the thing, like, and then it's funny. It's funny that you say that because I've actually been thinking about that recently too. Like
Mm.
with my music, like I wanted to make it so known that like you don't have to follow a certain path like with your music just to be known for it. You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And then I realized that what a lot of people will do is that they'll make music and they'll fill it up with like curse words and stuff like that, this and third. I'm like, there's just so much different wordplay that you
Right.
could put behind it and the song still comes out dope. That's one reason. The
Mhm.
second, probably more important reason, I got a little brother. I
Mm.
got nieces, I got nephews. Like, at the end of the day, like, yeah, I'll make my music for like, for the likeness of other people, but I want everybody to listen to it, including the people that I care about.
Right.
So I had a point in time where I was cursing a lot on my music too, and I kind of transitioned out of that. And now kind of finding like what we were talking about earlier, getting more into a position where it's like I want to follow that and I want to be
Mm.
more committed to that. You get what I'm saying?
Mm.
So speaking to everybody.
Absolutely, and that sets you apart so much. Like, and I feel like one of the things, as we were talking about on the other segment of like, how do in these kind of settings with interview settings and things like, how do we make things different? And I feel like when you have those little like niche things about you that make up like a part of just who you are and why you do what you do and why your music is the way that it is, like those things are what make real connections with your audience. People who feel the same way, parents who want to be able to play music that isn't Coco Melon, that they can be
Yeah.
comfortable listening to their kids around, that isn't kids bop and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And parents have, it's obviously parents' responsibility to parent their children and,
Yeah.
and limit what folks are what their kids are listening to. But if you're able to break that barrier and be that much more accessible to that audience,
Like, wow, he's not talking about guns, he's not talking about drugs,
exactly.
he's not bringing up different things. And like, I feel with my music I could create something that everybody can like grasp something, like take something from. It doesn't always have to be like some like deep meaning to it, but like
Right.
just understanding that like like you can have a dream, you could
Mhm.
be getting it out the mud through a certain situation, like there
Right.
could you could be dealing with anxiety, you could be dealing with different things.
Mhm.
Like, there's so much stuff that the people need to hear, that
Yes.
it's like there's hope, and I want to be that sign.
Absolutely. And that hope, like, yes, I feel like one of the things that we forget is like I feel like a lot of people, artists, I'm jumping all over the place. Artists are always like these tortured souls, you know what I mean? And we always want to write about like sad stuff, but we need joyful music. We
Yeah.
need music that just reminds us like we can be happy and we can have moments of bliss. And like I think that's why a lot of like hype rap music is so popular, because the words may not be affirmative and uplifting, but the energy that you get when you're listening to that music, you're having fun, you're living in the
Right.
moment, you know what I mean? And I feel like creating those experiences is what it's all about. So
Like, imagine if we could, like, imagine that music that's on that same level of energy, because at the same token, it's like everything you consume, everything that you take in, it takes effect on you, from what you listen to what you see, what you like, like
Mhm.
on the, even like being on our phones, like at certain times of the day, and like going, like, it's all consumption that we're
Yes.
taking in. So it's like, I want whatever people, when people listen to my music, I want them to still
Mhm.
get that feeling, and like they still just have like positive consumption in what's coming out of my music. You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely. So let's talk a little bit. Do you have any like upcoming stuff? Is there anything in the works
Yes.
that you have going on?
So I'm not gonna lie, like low key, like these past couple months, I've been taking time just to get my sound together, figure
Mhm.
out. But I have still been recording. I've still been working on music. So in regard to like music wise, I have an EP coming. I'm actually planning on dropping it this summer. Yeah, there's a lot of things are going back into motion, like starting like around May. Starting off with a show that I'm actually doing like May 6th on Saturday.
Okay.
I'm gonna be doing a show out here in Orlando, just having a little like release / like release party for my EP. It's gonna be right before my birthday too, so I'm gonna just have everybody pop out to that.
Beautiful. Okay, so definitely tap in for the release party. If you know any information that you're willing to give about the EP, is there a concept behind it? Is it just kind of like, here's what I've been working on?
Yeah, I think it's just like a good collection of like where my head's been at like within the past year. Like you're definitely gonna hear progression in like what type of songs like I'm working on now. Like it's not just so like one-sided or directed towards one thing. Like I'm touching on different aspects of love, different aspects of just different things. It's gonna be a good project. I'm excited.
Okay, I like it. So let's take a listen to some unreleased. I know that you sent in some unreleased.
Right.
Let's take a listen to that, take a brief little break, and then when we come back, we're gonna talk about some more stuff.
All right, let's do it.
Keep going.
For sure.
With our 10 toes, never fall, never know we will fall out. I've been overtaken lately, I've been stressed out. Your love been a drug, now I'm coming down. I gave it my all when I met you. Why I gotta spend my heart in two just to get you? If you won't get fed to the dogs, I'ma let you. Tick time, my clock don't stop, can't waste my time. If you wanna leave, then leave, I can't keep you from going. I've been giving all my love and I can't wait on you to notice. Even though my heart's been broken, I got tunnel vision, can't lose focus. I know that I gotta keep going even though loving you hopeless. Now you turn into somebody that I used to know. And if you truly love somebody, then you let them go. There's something about you can't explain, but you need to know. Running around my head getting dizzy like I got vertigo. Can't say nothing you don't already know. Gotta keep it 100, I've been turning cold. Girl, you sparked the flame and I was burning slow. I just feel like we parting ways and I don't wanna go. I just can't deny the way I feel about you. I could give you better love than any other side do. Got me singing Sade, you my sweetest taboo. I don't think you know what you missing. If I sung a letter made of gold, would you listen? Sign sealed, you my end goal, that's the mission. Yeah. You say you was down for it all. 10 toes, never fall, never know we will fall out. I've been overtaken lately, I've been stressed out. Your love been a drug, now I'm coming down. I gave it my all when I met you. Why I gotta spend my heart in two just to get you? If you won't get fed to the dogs, I'ma let you. Tick time, my clock don't stop, can't waste my time. If you wanna leave, then leave, I can't keep you from going. I've been giving all my love and I can't wait on you to notice. Even though my heart's been broken, I got tunnel vision, can't lose focus. I know that I gotta keep going even though loving you hopeless. Even though loving you hopeless.
Esto es Magnifica.
Yo. We're back. So we are gonna talk now. You know, we kind of have a baseline of who is Jay the Prodigy and a little bit about some of your history and music. You know, what you have coming up. Let's talk specifically about Orlando. So me and the girls were talking about just the scene, the audience, the way promoters be moving, and all that kind of stuff. So first of all, where are you from?
I was born and raised in Tampa, Florida. So,
Tampa,
yeah, so a town of country, like right by Ybor City. I grew up there majority of my life after I turned like 13, 14. That's when I moved out to Orlando. I actually stayed by like Kissimmee side. I was staying like
Gotcha.
yeah. So I grew up around there, like finishing up high school and all that stuff, going into college. I'm still here right now.
Okay, got you. So yeah, tell me about the first show that you ever came to in Orlando, if you can remember.
My first show. So my first show was actually like through it was this concert thing called like Afton. I think it was like Afton shows or something like that. I started it in high school. Like it was my first time like really like looking into like, okay, how do I start getting paid from shows? How do I start being able to like make moves with like booking performances? So I did this show for Afton. It was at this little lounge. It was cool. I'm not gonna lie though. Like
It was a vibe?
yeah, it was a vibe. It was low key. But I did my first show. Had a bunch of people come out to it. It was dope. That was like around my sophomore year. But like my first time like really working in Orlando.
Yeah, in like the general scene.
Yeah.
Right.
I would say that would have to be the Nardo Wick show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a Nardo Wick show.
So, what was your initial, impression of the Orlando scene when you first started getting into
Oh,
it?
they wanted my money.
Everybody just wanted your money.
Yeah, but like the thing with me is like I'm quick to read a move. So it's like I already know when someone is like genuinely interested in wanting to work or collaborate versus when someone's trying to just sink into my pocket, so they want something.
Right.
So at the end of the day, business is business. I know how it is. So it's like I have to keep my head on the swivel and make sure that I'm watching how people move.
Absolutely.
But for that event, it was my first time really making like one of those calls. Like, when you're starting off as an independent artist, you don't have other people like giving you
giving you those pointers.
So with me doing that show, I was a little hard-headed, like starting off too. So like I was honestly looking back on it now, it wasn't the smartest decision to like do it for that show. I would do it more like if someone like what I would have done it for is if like Brent had actually when Brent came out here and did the opening there, like probably would have done something like that. But it kind of just goes all back to like how the promoters were acting, like how they were handling with the money, and just like I had to hustle like 100 tickets like within 2 weeks. So
wow.
Yeah, it was.
That's a hustle too.
Yeah, 200
That's
tickets.
a hustle.
Mind you, not a lot of people knew about me at that
Right.
point too.
That's
like I was
a
very
hustle. Oh my goodness. Wow. So we know the promoters are shady. Promoters are always shady.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about like the artist community. Is there any, what was your first impression of that? And then, over time, what have you come to learn about the artist community in Orlando?
What I have learned about the artist community is that a lot of people will say that they are down to work, that they have stuff that's ready, and that they have stuff good to go, but not everybody like puts this amount of time that they like speak on. You get what I'm saying? So like you could tell the difference between someone who's like really tried to season themselves as an artist and who has like really taken their time to like take their music to the next level versus someone who just doesn't like put in that time for it. But at the end of the day, like it's really based off of the relationships you genuinely have with people, and it's like where it's coming from. Like when you're working with an artist that you guys know, like, all right, we're both trying to work our way up, we're trying to do our thing, we're trying to like, we both have something good going on. Like, look, shout out my boy Rolly, like me and him already got a song we're working on together, like on some R&B stuff, and like we literally just been getting into our bag. We're not looking at anything like we're not looking at the money right now because we want the sound to be like
to be
there.
what it needs
the
to be.
leverage is gonna be there when it's there.
Yes.
But once it is, we're gonna be able to already have so much stuff to work with, it's not gonna matter. Like you get what I'm saying? Like we're not going in because of the amount of money. We just literally
y'all
love
just
it.
want to do this. Right. So kind of like still on the topic of like the Orlando artist community, how hard is it to find relationships like you're talking about with you and Raleigh?
I would say it's really off of timing. Like versus like where you meet somebody, how it happens, how the conversation kind of like. I'll give you an example. So I went to this party one day. It was about like 2-3 months ago. It was a house party of a friend of a mutual friend. Like we wound up going out, chilling. Like it was a nice little vibe. I think it was his like 23rd birthday. I meet this guy over there. We start talking. He looks like he's from LA the way he's dressed. Like he has like a whole fit on whatever. He winds up telling me he's from Gainesville. So he was coming out. He was visiting from college. Whatever. He actually finished from college. He was networking out in Orlando. He was still new to the scene. And we just started talking. Like we started like connecting up. Eventually he tells me that he likes music and that he's actually into videography. So boom, fast forward, we wound up kicking it. We drink, we talk, we have good conversation. We wound up having such a good convo that like we started working together. And now it's actually my videographer Samuel. Yeah, that's my dog Samuel. He actually did the video for Hold You Down.
Nice.
Which is like my recent video that I just released about a month ago. But had it not been for that moment, or even just going and having that conversation, doing all that stuff that led to now we have content that we work together.
Right. So more than maybe like it's difficult finding people, is more difficult or not even difficult, like you just have to put the effort in to actually build the relationships and to stay connected and to continue moving forward. I like that. So oh my gosh, there was something that I specifically wanted to talk about that is like slipping my brain. So so again, like staying along the lines of the Orlando artist community, do you feel like it's a supportive community? Like, do you feel like the scene is like crabs in a barrel, or do you feel like people are really trying to uplift people out here? Or, sorry, this is like a compound on a compound on a compound question.
I'm grasping everything from the question.
Are there any like specific scenes in Orlando that are like super supportive that definitely need like their props?
I think that this community is filled with a lot of people who are hungry. It's like there's a lot of people who want to do like big things in this industry, but not everybody has the best intent towards you. And at the end of the day, the only way you're gonna make something that you want to complete come to fruition, you have to put in the work to do it. So it's like, for me, I love Florida. I love Orlando. Like, I definitely see myself coming back here later on, but like, I see bigger than Florida. I'm not just a Florida-based artist. Like, I want to be globally known.
Absolutely.
I want to, because anything that has good intent behind it is gonna be prosperous. So you know what I'm saying? So it's like, when it comes to the Orlando scene and just like how they move, I don't see the best in it for everybody, but for the ones that I do, I'm grateful for. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So it's like being able to have the genuine connections and being able to work with solid people and solid artists, like, and they give off that vibe from the jump. Like, I'm thankful for those people, but I keep my circle small.
Absolutely. And I think that's a good, thing to go by. And I've been talking about this a lot. Me and Key have actually been talking about this, of just like people having different places in your life, you know what I mean? And that's especially true in this industry. Like, not every person that you meet is going to be a long-lasting connection, that you guys are partners on this and that, and like in this and some people you just have a good conversation with in passing. Some people are just, one-time contracted photographers. Some people and that's okay. It's all just a part of the journey, and we all have to be like, you have to know where other people fit in your life, where you fit in other people's life, and also like what is right for you. You know what I mean? Because some people, they may have, maybe there is genuinely a lot of opportunity around them, but they are not good for your peace. They disturb your peace. Like, you have to make those decisions and see what you're willing to sacrifice and what you're willing to move around. And yeah, it's definitely a whole process. So
that's why it's so important to have such a solid team. And like, that's what, like, when you have your team, like, and that's what I'm saying, like, even now, I feel like that's what's been making the motion different. Like, I'm working with a team now. I have people that are collectively like coming together and helping, and we're making motion because it's not just me anymore.
Right.
And like, coming from a place that I had to wear so many hats. Like, it's like, oh, I have to be the artist, I have to be the engineer, I have to make sure I'm doing this, da, da, da.
Right.
Even though it's still good that I'm still move on that.
Absolutely.
But now I have, like, extensions, and it's like now I have people who are, like, they're also like, okay, what can I do to help? You know what I'm saying?
Yes, of course. Not everything is on your shoulders. So let's talk about that a little bit as well. Tell me about your engineering and your production background, because you do a lot of stuff in-house.
Yeah.
So let's hear it.
So it's funny. My producing started off when I was just realizing that I could rap, because it was like I knew that I didn't want to have to wait to make beats or like go on YouTube for every single beat.
Right.
So I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna learn how to do this. And plus, like, the greats like J. Cole, like, I'm not sure if Kendrick has worked on any of his beats, but I know Cole, like,
I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm
like,
sure.
But like big artists have had the opportunity to create their own sound, and it's like, especially now more than ever, like, we have access to do that.
Absolutely.
So I'll kind of backtrack right now, but I started learning how to do it off my mom's iPad when I was like 7 years old.
Okay.
Off GarageBand.
Right.
And then that's how I got better with, like, actually learning how to make beats, becoming good with sampling. Like, that's where I learned how to do all of it.
I love that.
Yeah. And then going into high school, it's an old friend of my dad's, actually. He lent me like an old MacBook, man. He actually passed away like about a year or two ago. So yeah, God rest his soul. But like, what's it called? He lent me this MacBook, and he had FL Studio on it. And then that's when I actually started learning how to produce like really good beats.
Right,
Like
in the DAW, right?
Yeah,
In
that
a
was,
real DAW.
Yeah, like I'm hopping into the actual sessions. I'm able to record everything. Came with the mic, everything. So once I started getting into FL, that's when I really built up my sound, and I was able to. From there, I just took off.
That's awesome. So for artists who are, either starting out or they're just looking for some real growth, what are some like ways that you recommend that they start learning about like engineering or production, so that they can, either touch up their own stuff or just start being even more like active in the production process with their producer, and just being able to like have better communication?
I think one big thing is understanding that when you're working with another artist, or when you're like I said, when you're collaborating with somebody, understand that you guys have different brains and you guys are going to contribute different ideas.
Right.
And being open to those ideas is so key to making it come together. You get what I'm saying? So like, as a producer and as an engineer, I know that the engineer probably got like 10 different mixing ideas that could help take the song to another level, and the producer could go ahead and do something on the beat that could set it aside and make a whole different moment out of it. So it's like, it literally comes back to having a solid team, or being open to being able to grow and work collaboratively with your team. So yeah, definitely that type of stuff. Like, make sure that you're just open to new ideas, testing
and learning from other people. Absolutely. I love that. So with that being said, we're gonna close this off. Is there anything that you want to touch on, to speak on, before we close out, do all the shout outs, all that
yes
stuff?
If you guys are gonna be in Orlando on May 6th, the weekend of May 6th, definitely go ahead and pop out to this show. We have shows that we're taking full control over.
Nice.
It goes back to what we were talking about earlier. We are handling the promotion. We're handling the food. We got everything out here. It's going to be like a nice kickback. We trying to hit like the Kissimmee community, Latin community, Caribbean, Afro music, everything. Like, we want to have like good vibes going into the summer, and just bring it back. Like, this is 2023. Like, we just had to deal with like kind of a crazy.
So much stuff.
Yeah, like it was just so insane just what we had to deal with. That it's like, now that the music scene is coming back, we want to bring like a breath of fresh air to Orlando too. Yeah. I
love it. Okay, so personally, I'm gonna do my little outro. It's your girl Ari. It was so good having y'all on the first edition of the Baddie Brigade with Dare to Defy Radio. featuring our amazing guest interviewee, Jay the Prodigy. If you guys want to submit to have your music reviewed for the podcast and possibly played on the Dare to Defy Radio, go ahead and send me an email at ari@dareanddefy.net. You can also tap in with me on social media at Nadie Sabe Official. That's NADIESABE Official. And you can also find me at Dare and Defy on Instagram. With that being said, I hope that the worst part of your week is officially over, and that you were able to spend it, with a good time with me and my friends. Yeah, Jay, shout yourself out before we get the get.
All right, for sure. If you guys want to go ahead and follow me on all platforms, I go by Jay the Prodigy. On Instagram is Jay the Prodigy, 3 Y's at the end. Got the new EP coming out pretty soon. Make sure that y'all stay tuned for that. We lit.
All right. I will see y'all next week. Peace out.
Outside, we can't land yet. Gone way up, now they see that my glow too bright. I ain't never gon' leave. Got the city on my back. I remember way back. They would say that now I'm back home, peeping all the cat. Piss effect that you know I'm on my way to something bigger. If you didn't, then it's okay. Just know I'm making moves regardless. My road getting bigger and you played your part in there. I'm about to raise the charts, yeah. If they hating on your moves, sing your song and lean back. They be watching from the bench. I be on the take back. Shoot my shot, ain't no free throw. Defend the city that with me, they call me hero. Battle okay, today. I'm 7 Jenny swerving lace from A to B to C. The Prodigy, the things a whole world ain't never seen. I ain't average, I'm Midas and fear and beastin' for gold. I'm climbing up the totem pole, but I ain't risking my soul. I'm just a product of something big and no Xanny. Sipping liquor, my pockets is getting thicker. My mind is what's getting richer. You know this prophecies and quarter got the need to show it. I can't help it if it's now. You notice that the kid been goated. This ain't mumble rap, this is factually just my time. No faking like Maybelline, making up they own silver lining. I'm shining just like the sun, and my story has just begun. I don't know where it's easy, just know I'm breathing flames. Southside to side to see, I'm going killer on the beat. Ambition, I ain't no certified, you know I can't retreat. Swear I'm cooking like I'm Raekwon in the kitchen. My butterfly coupe is riding dirty, it's stinging deadly. I'm the killer bee, you know it's me. Jay the Prodigy, unapologetically betting on me like lottery. Sounding like these wannabe legends, they be scripted in my biology. Woven from a different fabric, my only tactic making boy like proud of me. Undoubtedly on my way, hoping you feel my story, my love, understand my pain. Calling me the old town hero, I don't need a wear cake. Cause the jail deal about to say the day, I'm about to be the change. If they hating on your moves, sing your song and lean back. They be watching from the bench, I be on the
Esto es Magnífica